does that exactly mean? Well, when you have a look at this pen, it becomes quite self-evident. This is the Lamy 2000, and welcome to Pen Friends. So good morning, good afternoon and good evening to whatever time you're tuning in, and thank you for watching so far. Okay, so the Lamy 2000, probably one of the most iconic fountain pens in existence, to be honest. It was conceptualized in 1966 by Gerd A. Müller in Germany, inspired by the Bauhaus movement, and it's probably one of the best known fountain pens till today, to be honest. If you were to talk to any fountain pen collector and you said Lamy 2000, there would be nobody out there, I think, who wouldn't know what this pen was and what it actually means really to the world of fountain pens. This was my first fountain pen, however. I wanted to get something with a gold nib, which wasn't too expensive. Why did I want to get a gold nib? Well, I was new to fountain pens, and gold nibs sounded shiny, so who can blame me, right? Right. So what we've got here is the Lamy 2000 with a stainless steel section, a Macalon body, which is a polycarbonate fiberglass material, thus making this a very lightweight pen. With this pen being so light, really makes for a wonderful writing experience. Sometimes having a heavy pen can basically drain your energy for writing in extended periods of time. So this is another fantastic feature of the pen. The pen does cap, and the pen also has a piston filler. Now you can't see the actual piston if I was to hold the pen from this distance, but if you were to put your eyes super close up, you will see it. Also, there is another micro gap just roughly at the front here. This allows you to actually unscrew. I do that very carefully, and you can see hopefully the gap starting to appear. This will, surprisingly, I don't know how many people know about this, but it's something I just recently found out, that will allow you to get a syringe and actually syringe fill it, should you not wish to dunk the actual stainless steel section into a bottle of ink. Talking of the stainless steel section, when you do put the cap back onto the section, at times ink can escape back onto the section. There is a stay wet mechanism inside the actual cap, which will stop the pen from drying out. There probably is a technical name for that, but unfortunately I don't know what it is. But unfortunately, sometimes that can actually create a bit of a ring around the stainless steel section. So from an aesthetics perspective, that doesn't look great. However, it is a very wet writer. So for those which do like to have a nice juicy pen, this really will be one for you. On the front, we have got a little breather hole, which will allow you to actually, it's not so much of a breather hole, but it's for the filling mechanism, I should say. The breather hole is really actually on the nib, but you have got the filling mechanism on the front, just around at the section. So that is great. On the bottom is the piston, which I would operate, but it is filled with ink. And then, as you can see, just possibly, I might have to do some photography of this, but you do have an ink window as well. It's all very nice. So let's have a talk about some of the pros and cons of this. Okay, so let's talk about some of the positives of this pen. So we've got a good size. We've got a 14 karat gold nib. We've got a 1.3 milliliter piston filler. It's a wet and juicy writer. There are different nib sizes available, and it works generally well with all inks. I remember I've got Diamine Royal Blue in there, and you'll see in the writing drawing sample in a moment how well this pen performs. Okay, so with every positive, there must be a few negatives. Okay, so there are other pens in the Lamy range, certainly in the 2000 range, which come in different materials. There is the stainless steel version and there is the special Bauhaus version. Both versions are more expensive, and I'd argue they're worth. The stainless steel version is heavier. I've not actually used it myself, but I've been reliably told that it is a much heavier pen. For some people, that might be a positive, but if you are doing those extended writing sessions, then having a lightweight pen is a must. As I said before, the ink can stain the section just around in like a little band. That can destroy the aesthetics of the pen. Like I say, you can clean it, so it's not really a deal breaker. And the pen can be quite pricey as well, dependent on where you buy it. But if you do shop around, you can get a good deal. I think I spent £121 on this pen when I purchased it. Yes, £121 sounds expensive for a pen, but if you're a fountain pen collector and you're watching this, then you'll understand that gold is pricey. You also have to pay for any import tax, and with this pen coming from Germany, there will be some form of import tax, which the retailers have to unfortunately pass on to us. Also, the design, whilst it is in my personal taste, it possibly might not be for everyone. It is a very understated pen, and whilst that might be great for certain scenarios, you know, taking it to work and not really worrying about someone pinching it, this may be a little bit too conservative for others. If you prefer those sort of Chatoinst-esque acrylic pens, this isn't going to do it for you. In fact, I don't think Lamy does any really stellar designs in terms of creating sparkles and shine and interesting acrylics at all. So if you're buying Lamy, I'd say actually most German manufacturers are very conservative with their actual fountain pens, with maybe the exception of Montblanc, which do some quite elaborate designs on their higher range models. But in my personal taste, I love this. So let's move on to doing a bit of writing and a drawing sample. Come on over.
Okay, and welcome to the writing sample. So we're just going to write out a quick few words. But one thing I did forget to mention was the fact that you do have to hold this nib at a proper angle to get the most out of it. It does have a sweet spot, so apologies for not mentioning that in my pros and cons. It generally performs really well, and when you do get it in that sweet spot, it is really wet, and I have emphasized that before, but as you can see, this pen does lay down quite a lot of ink. As you can see, the ink pooling just on the bottom of some of the letters. This really is such a beautiful colour ink as well, this royal blue. Unfortunately, the sun keeps coming and going, so I'm trying my best to cope with the exposure at the moment. But talking a little bit more about the Diamine royal blue, it's a very regal looking colour and quite a cheery colour, to be honest. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's lays down a nice wet line. It has good sort of shading properties, and the little bit I have actually done in terms of drawing with this ink, it's been brilliant. Diamine inks I have found in general to be a bit wetter than the Lamy inks, and a hair bit a hair bit wetter than the Edelstein. I am very new to inks, so if you've got further ink recommendations which you think would suit this pen, then please leave those in the comment sections below. So let's get this finished off, and then we'll just do a few line variation tests as well. As you can see, you can squeeze just the minutest little bit of line variation out on this pen. I mean, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it does give a little bit of expression. Not a huge amount, but it's something. Lamy 2000 nibs are generally quite stiff, and I wouldn't really want to try and overflex it. So let's just move on to doing a little bit of reverse writing. And as you can see, you can reverse write with it, I wouldn't use it for anything other than perhaps sketching. Okay, right, so let's now just do a very quick drawing, and then I will be back with you very shortly. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy the interlude music.
Well, thank you once again for listening and watching my review on the Lamy 2000. Now, if you've got any suggestions or comments on how to further improve my videos, please feel free to do so, and also leave any drawing suggestions. I would be happy to help and fulfill any wishes out there. Thank you once again, and my beautiful pen friends, I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.